Well, here we are and ready to begin writing essay number 1. I'm really excited. This first essay is going to focus on narration, and we definitely saw the beauty and the power of narration in these two essays that we read. One is by Elizabeth Wong, and the second one is by Langston Hughes. And I want to show you how to embed dialogue in your writing by using specific examples from their writing. So in the first example, you saw Elizabeth Wong's struggle to be an all-American girl. And I want to bring your attention to how Wong embeds dialogue in her writing. So she opens with a quote, and she adds a comma and a quotation to close the quotation. She also presents an identifying tag. So you want to be careful not to confuse the reader. And then she continues, and we notice as readers that this is the same voice. She continues to narrate, and here we get another identifying tag, but this time the identifying tag opens the sentence, and notice that there's a comma here and then there's colons here. So it's pretty easy. So if you see that a complete sentence opens an identifying tag and then is followed by a quotation, you can add a colon. And then we see a complex sentence, so we see a subordinator here, and then you have your comma and your independent clause. And finally, it closes with a quotation again. So in our next example, we see Langston Hughes' essay, Salvation. And I want to bring your attention to, well, actually, if you can go to your book, you'll notice that before this quote, you see a specific quote from Sister Reed. So you know as a reader that who said this. So this is an identifying tag, but this is different from the Wong essay. This type of dialogue means that anytime that you have two people that are speaking, and you also see these patterns in fiction, is you indent, the person speaks, and then you have the identifying tag. So this is saying that another person speaks, and so we know it's a conversation that these two people are having. Now, I went ahead and crafted an example for you. And imagine that this comes from a short story or a novel, and you already know these characters because you've been reading the story or the novel, and so you know that this is a dialogue between two people. So you don't have to say who said what. And what you do is imagine that this is the margin, and so that means that anytime a person speaks, you add an indent, and then another person responds, and then you write that. So this is, hey Paco is said by this person, so hurry up. And then the other character or person is asking why, and then finally there's an explanation at the end. So it would read something like this: hey Paco, what? Hurry up. Why? Dude, call the cops. I'll explain later. Sammy's not waking up. So here we have a paragraph, well, actually several dialogue, and these quotes. So in the first example, you saw how you can embed your dialogue in a paragraph. In your second example, you see how you can indent and also add an identifying tag, or you can have dialogue that just presents the actual dialogue without the identifying tags. So I look forward to reading your narrative, and I want you to know that it's a very difficult genre and definitely requires maturity and personal growth. So if you're not ready to write about a certain topic, I just want to let you know that it's okay, and maybe you can write about that topic in the future. So write about something that you will not have to think about for too much, and write about something that only you know and that you're willing to share with the reader. And of course, when I say reader, I mean the world. Thank you so much.